Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of So Zoom In, where I love to bring you people who are in the creative flow. All right, I am bringing you a multi-talent. He is a musician and an actor, and he's constantly reinventing himself. His name is Tom Proctor, and you can currently see him on the series Blue Ridge. Thanks so much for joining us, Tom. So good to see you again. It's been a while. I have to say, you are a man who's constantly reinventing himself. You are just always on the go, and I really admire that about you. You are a singer. You tour all over the place. You have your own band, the Tom Proctor Band. You are a working actor. That is awesome. You are on the series Blue Ridge. Is that currently showing right now or not yet?
No, it is currently showing.
Showing.
I've had a lot of friends ask me, how can I see Blue Ridge? Where can I see Blue Ridge? Because they don't have some of the channels. And then every time I post how to watch Blue Ridge, I find two or three more things that it's on. So the easiest way for me, because I'm not a techno geek and I don't know how to switch, like I have trouble switching from Netflix to Prime. And so the easiest way for me is well, I have a Roku TV. I just go to the Roku channel, put in Blue Ridge, and the movie and the first series comes up immediately
Okay.
on Blue Ridge. But it's also on a thing. I was showing it to somebody on. We were down doing some camping, but I have Starlink, and they didn't have internet. I mean cable, and so we just typed in westernbound.com, and it's on that channel too.
Okay. Well, we are going to get into it because I really want to dive into the series and how you're working on it. But I want to talk about how you got started. Now, you've done all kinds of amazing things. You were in the MMA.
Hmm.
You won, you're like a champion.
Well, okay, so you gotta, in order to avoid exaggerating or lying, it was not MMA. What I did, I did no holds barred fighting,
Okay.
which legitimate no holds barred was what it was at first. No, there was legitimately no rules, no time limits.
Mhm.
Some of the fights I did, they got where there was you had 20-minute round and a 8-minute overtime.
Okay.
Just one round. And as a matter of fact, me, Nick Carroll, a guy named Hiro Sharoma were the reason it got changed from no hold barred to mixed martial arts. We did that because we back in that day, all the fights were just on Indian reservation underground. And and you could literally you were like an example. I have one guy. It was a cage that wasn't an octagon. It was set up square, like a ring. They literally set a chain link fence inside a ring. And I was fighting on one of the Indian reservations. I can't remember which one. But I've got this guy down. His head's in the corner. I'm sitting on both of his biceps. Where's he gonna go? I mean, I got just a target, and I turn around to the referee. And I says, "Just call it a fight. I'm not
Right.
gonna kill this guy, for a purse. You break into my house, that's a different story.
Right.
Then I'm going to hurt you. But the fact that you're stepping in the ring with me just means you're there to give me a paycheck. I'm there to give you a paycheck. I'm not
Okay.
there to end your career. And I don't know if anyone's noticed or not, but even in back in no hold barred days, where there really was no rules, you didn't see anybody taking out the ACL or collapsing tracheas.
Yeah.
You
Really.
you just didn't see it, even though it's right there. As easy as I can kick your thigh, I can kick your ACL, and that fight's over.
Right.
But there was a respect level to where that just didn't happen. Anyway, we started off the Arizona Shoot Fighting Association (ISCF), and then it went from that to being MMA, and then the boxing commission was involved,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of shot myself in the foot because the minute the boxing commission got involved, first off, any of my fights that were not sanctioned went away. I had myself, Shannon Rich, another one of my fighters who had fought all these, had now Shannon was nut job. He was fighting like 160 some odd fights a year in a year, and all those fights go away off your record.
Why is
When
that?
because now everything that's on record is only sanctioned fights. That's it. Like I mean, we expect that. We did pit fights down in Mexico, and I fought the blockbuster in Cambodia, and those will never be on. Those will never be on the record. They're just experience. But
Right.
but it also, I realized, because I was 47 years old when I won the heavyweight and super heavyweight title.
Is that considered old for that, or is that considered
Oh,
young?
yes, way old, way old. And the main thing is you're considered way old at that. But when they added the rules, I could no longer compete. I depended on that long round. A lot of times I would tie up and do what we call a bocator tie up and just hang on a person, or get the side mount and just crush the air out of them and hang there until they wore out. Like right now, I'm training. I had, I had an injury where I blew a foot off and was in a wheelchair for a while, and I just on and off couldn't work out at all. I got out of shape and everything like this. Well, then in this season of Blue Ridge, they wrote so many action sequences in for me. I went, holy shit, I got to get back into a fight gym. And so I go back in, I find a fight gym down here in Franklin. I go in, I'm not going to tell them who I am or not, and I just want to train, get back in shape. And what first day there, the gym owner says, "You want to teach these classes? You clearly have been doing this longer than any of us." 3 days a week doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu with guys that are all under 30,
Mm.
and 2 days a week doing kickboxing with guys that are all under 30. And they're all saying, you could teach us to do MMA, do MMA. And I said, I have to be honest. If I were to go back in time and the fighters of today were to go back in time, I would get my ass handed to me, and so would all my fighters. It's evolved so much into the striking game, and it's an aggressive cross mix striking game. I would have to, if I were going to compete today, I would have to be 19, 20 years old and retrain myself, retrain my thinking. You had a pacing in those days where you would do a lot of tagging and filling the guy out the first round. Then you'd start opening up the second round. Third round, you knew his game and started to light him up and stuff like that. There ain't no time for that. You better know your game, know his game before you go in there.
So when did you start getting to stunt work? Was it about that same time, or was it after that?
I was doing stunt work at the same time. Which I thought was kind of funny, because all the stunt people thought I was crazy for doing no holds bar fighting, and all the fighters like, you're crazy doing the stunt work. And and uh and the two don't really mix well. Because uh from the fighting aspect of stunt work, in a fight, you know camera angles. So if I'm standing right in front of Tom Cruise or somebody even more famous, like yourself, and I'm going to punch you, I got to step aside this way, telegraph, so see that camera can see you now, and bring that clear across this way.
Okay. But you
And
weren't watching there.
but if we're just fighting, I'm just boom, I'm going to sneak that in there. I'm going to come in and just sneak that in there. And and what I found out, one of my fights had been training for a movie fight, and I went to this fight. I wasn't scheduled to fight. And my friend there, we call him Pink, he was there and he was all upset. He says, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I won't be able to pay my rent." I said, "What's going on, Pink?" He says, "Well, one of my fighter got injured on the way here. I don't have a fight. He got injured on the way here. And when you don't have a fight, you don't get a paycheck. This is what I mean. It ain't a hate thing, it's a paycheck." And I said, "Well, I'll fight you, Pink." He goes, "You will?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, thanks, man. We'll go tell him, well, thanks." And my wife, now ex-wife at the time, looked at me and says, "I thought you were friends with him." I said, "Well, I am friends with him. That's why I'll fight him so he can pay his rent." She goes, "So you're going to let him win?" I said, "No, I'm going to kick his ass, but he still gets a paycheck for stepping in there."
So, so does that ruin your friendship, or is it just
Oh,
something?
no, no,
Good.
no, no. There's a mutual respect. One of the worst one of my fighters ever got hurt was when he went in the cage and refused to touch gloves. And he got hurt because I knocked the dog shit out of him. It's like this. Let's say you and I are going to be, we're both actors. We're going to do a scene together. We're just doing a scene. That's our job. We're doing a scene. And we're going to have a yelling match. We're going to yell all kinds of evil things at each other. And you don't show up. I don't get a paycheck because you didn't show up. Or we get there and you don't bring it. You don't fully bring that other character for me to argue it.
And you don't have a scene. Yeah.
Then I don't, then that scene, I lost the whole scene, the whole entertainment value of it.
Mm.
And is no different. It's an entertainment value.
That's part of what you do, the fighting. So how did you start integrating that into acting? When did that start coming into the picture for you? Before music or during music? Or...
Oh, but way before music. Matter of fact, I won my guitar in an arm wrestle on the way to do movies in Louisiana. That's a kind of a trick question. And so I did music back when I was a kid. I was the drummer for a band that was Chris Ledoux's backup band, and I was the drummer in my brother's band, in my band, and with my older brother. And I would drum and play and sing. But back then, you started off, you played all the bars, and I found I was just deathly allergic to cigarette smoke. I'd be back there playing drums, and got very physical and stuff like that, and I had a little throw up bucket back there because I'd wind up puking by the end of the night. And now it goes back a little bit to my grandmother, who was a very, very real seer, psychic, if you will. But she wasn't one of these phony baloney ones. She really talked to dead people. She really, when she said something, it was just the truth. And she kept telling me, Tommy, if you'll just sing and make music, play the guitar. And she was telling me this when I was 4 years old, playing on a Mickey Mouse guitar with some of the strings missing and clear out of tune. She says, if you'll sing, you won't be poor anymore. And so when we got in the band with Jack, we kept listening. Yeah, Grandma says, if I'll just sing, but he played guitar already. I didn't play guitar because he already played guitar, and so I played the drums. Well, Grandma was wrong about this one thing because I can't do it. The cigarette smoke, and I just can't. Still to this day, have rough time. I won't play a bar that allows smoking. I can't. I won't make it through the show. And even in my fights, they kept saying, Tom, you gotta at least take the guy a few minutes. You can't kill him right away. And I said, then get rid of the cigar section. Because we go to these fights and they'd have the VIP section, they called the cigar section, right up underneath the damn ring or cage, either one. And they're all smoking cigars. So that tells me the minute I get in there, I got less than 3 minutes to kill this sucker. Wow. And then I'm gonna be overthrown up from the smoke.
Do they still have that, or did they change that too?
Oh, that after winning my guitar in an arm wrestle, and I had an injury that put me out of work, and I set up a street tube and played on the streets of New Orleans, and I'd make $300 or $400 an evening just playing guitar on the street with the street cube, just in tips. Well, then I got invited. These guys says, hey, our singer went down. Can you learn these songs in 3 days? Handed me 4 sheets of songs. You will play the House of Blues. Everybody said, oh my gosh, you get to play the House of Blues. Oh my gosh, you want to play the House of Blues? Like it was a big deal, You want to play the House of Blues? And I thought, wow, that'd be really cool. I go there, I thinking, oh man, what am I going to do about the smoke? What am I going to do about the smoke? There was no smoking. And I said, why is nobody smoking? Can't smoke in public places.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm back. And then we played there 4 hours. I got there early, helped them set up, helped them tear down. And I don't know who was doing the math for them, but we were supposed to get a percentage of the bar and a percentage of the door. Somehow it came out that the band members, or 6 of us, got 40 some odd dollars each.
Oh, wow.
And they said, yeah, you're going to do it again tomorrow? I said, hell no. I'll take the 350 in 3 hours on the corner. But that means you're just a street musician. I don't know, that means I can pay my damn rent.
You do this music and you get into acting. You've done Guardians of the Galaxy, you've done Justified, you've done a lot of very recognizable names. Yeah. My daughter still loves you from Guardians of the Galaxy. She's like, there's Tom. I met Tom. So she gets really excited about that. How do you feel about acting as opposed to music? Is it the same? Is it different? Is it two sides of the same coin? What is that like for you?
The thing is, acting pays for my music passion. I make my living as an actor. You know, we scrape by. We'll get shows like I got a show in Ohio that'll pay me 3,500, and another show pay me 5,000 and stuff like that to come out. But and then you bring in the whole band, and by the time you bring the whole band and hotels and everything else, you're back to little or no money. And I get the biggest thrill. I go down here to Blue Hound Barbecue, or I go down here to the High Roads Tasting Club, pay for $300 in a room this big, and I feel the strongest connection to people. What music does different than acting is acting. I'll get things where people go, "Oh my gosh, I saw you in this movie and you were amazing. I saw you in this movie." And I think, I think I'm a little bit of a narcissist. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Yeah, yeah, but I didn't get to see you see me in that. And I'd done a little bit of theater, and I love the instant gratification of the audience in the theater. And that's the same thing I get with the music, is there's that instant gratification.
Mhm.
You know, when you got grown men crying over a song you wrote, sitting in the audience, and
Mhm.
or you get there and you got an audience singing along with a song, Two Shots of Whiskey, that hasn't been released yet, just because you played it on Facebook and everything like that. It's like,
Mhm.
wow. And I'm finding a lot, when I get in places that have a high Latino, Spanish speaking people,
Mhm.
that they like my more country songs, even though some of them don't understand them.
Okay.
And so, like right now, I'm currently working my tail off to learn to speak Spanish,
Good.
and I'm gonna redo some of my songs in Spanish.
Oh, wow. Just for the audience.
Well, for the audience and for, a third of our country speaks Spanish.
Mhm.
I feel like Spanish is, quite possibly the second language here. But with what's going on in our country right now, and especially the area I'm in down here, there's a lot of prejudice that all the Spanish came across here illegally and they're all terrorists and that type stuff.
Oh, dear.
And
Where,
there's a
Tom, where are you located at right now?
right now I got a little RV in our beautiful little RV park in Dillard, Georgia. And then I'll go back to Charlotte. I just couldn't do the Atlanta thing. Another big city, and I just can't do it.
As long as it works. So you're finding that there's a lot of prejudice where you're at right now?
There's this feeling that, well, I can't count the number of times where I've heard, people say, "Well, welcome to America, now speak English."
Didn't we go through that in the 70s?
I think we did.
Yeah.
And I feel like with my look and the roles that I play, there's that assumption that I'm going to have that same attitude.
Right.
And that's why I've taken on this task, trying to learn Spanish, which I will tell you, from a man who speaks Cambodian, Khmer, the king's language,
Right.
can speak quite a bit of Mandarin. Spanish is harder than hell.
You just need to you just need practice. You'll pick it up fast. I'm sure you will. I'm-
Well, I've been at it for 3 months now. And in fact, the thing is that I'm retaining the most right now is I have a young lady who's her family are all music composers, Spanish music composers, and everything like that. She's helped me can switch my song Two Shots of Whiskey to Spanish in a way that it works with the rhythms and stuff like that. And you change the direct meaning some a little bit,
Yeah.
and but it's taken me 2 weeks just to get that first verse. And what's funny is a lot of my friends, I'll do it and I'll start doing that first verse in Spanish. They go, "Wow, the song's prettier in Spanish," even though
Wow.
I don't speak Spanish.
Okay, well, it'll make you learn, that's for sure. It
Yeah.
will. That's kind of great that you have that awareness. So you're bringing that compassion to people. It's like this awareness, like, okay, we're one and the same. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are. We are really just all one. So that's a
Well, my original family was chased out of England for being horse thieves and gunfighters. So I got a funny feeling they didn't come into the country legally. Now you're talking my great granddad and stuff like that, but the point is,
well, wasn't there a saying called "Rate
I'm
till"?
pretty sure they didn't come legally.
It's like, yeah, it's time for some peace, people. It's time for some peace. All right,
Yeah.
so one, I love your music. In Your Loving Arms, I love that song. And
Oh, you should see the girl in that video.
all right.
Ooh. She is beautiful.
No, I love
And
that.
and you know what? The thing that makes it was so work for her, for me, for her in that video is because of knowing her personally, she is really that woman that you would have a hard time going away from. And she's really that woman that would be there waiting and
Yeah.
saying, "Get your ass home, cowboy."
Come
You,
on, Cam. All
you
right,
might know her. You know, she looks a lot like you. Oh,
well,
wait, she was you.
beautiful song. I love it. And I have it as part of my playlist, so I listen to it quite often. So, how did you get into Blue Ridge? How did that come about for you? Because you were making your own movies for a while, right? And you still do. You
Yeah.
are a mover and a shaker, but how did Blue Ridge come to you?
It's really quite funny. I did an audition, and okay, and this is and every actor does this, so don't judge me
Never.
because every actor does this. I did this audition for this Western, and I walked out of there thinking they'll call my agent before I hit the parking lot. I just killed it, everything like that. I
Mhm.
never heard nothing, not a thing. And then your mind goes through,
What happened?
I, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And you start replaying it in your head. Now, nowadays,
Mhm.
same thing happens to you when you don't get called back on an audition, only you pull up the video that you auditioned with and you start picking that apart. So I give actors some advice. Instead of pulling up the video that you auditioned with and start picking that apart to see what you can do different, just go ahead, take the gun and shoot yourself in the foot because that's what you're doing. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Because you never know. You never know.
It's we all with our egos think I'm gonna get the part because I am a great actor.
Mm.
No, that part was either yours or it wasn't long before you got the audition. So what happened was then I get called to do a little film called Legends of 5 Mile Cave and play Virgil Earp, Wyatt Earp's brother in this Western. Oh man, that's awesome. And and by this time we were doing taped auditions and stuff like that and and I kept thinking, I'm talking to my manager, I said, I don't remember auditioning for that. She goes, let me look. She goes, nope, you didn't. Okay, we'll go do that. And we went and did it. Everybody just was so cool on that set and everything. And I said, how did, and I got talking with one of the producers, how did you guys find me? Oh, we were you did an audition for this movie with, but I can't remember the name. It was something, Beer in My Bathtub or something like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, and I didn't get it. So I tried not to ask that death question that you never ask. You should never ask, why didn't I get that? That's just a really bad, stupid thing to do. But since people watching this don't necessarily need to make the same mistakes I have, because I've already made them for us. One actor makes a mistake, he should share it because then you've made it for all the other actors.
Right.
But I finally cracked the question. I said, so what did that? Who got that part on that? I tried to beat around the bush on it, and then they says, well, nobody. There was a battle over the script, and the funding got pulled.
Wow. Okay.
All righty then.
Mhm.
And then they cast me on that one, and then off of that one, they cast me on Blue Ridge
Nice.
and
Okay.
the movie. And it was really funny because I was just coming back from doing a horror film in New Orleans and an episode of I think it was Queen of the South. And I landed in the airport in LAX airport, and my phone's just like blowing up. You know how they do when you get off a plane. And my manager said, "Hey, do you want to go do a film with the guys that did Legends of Five Mile Cave?" And uh, I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, you got to be at." She said, "I'm glad I reached you because if you're going to do it, you got to be at the airport in 3 hours." I said, "I'm at the airport right now." So I got my car out of long-term parking, went around the corner to the Target, bought another suitcase and a bunch of clothes because I didn't have time to do my clothes. Jumped back on the plane, and what was really funny is I had just come off of doing a show. So I got on all my own wardrobe, the buckskin jacket that I killed all the deer on, tanned their hides the old way, and my all my bling and rings, and this little travel Taylor guitar,
Mhm.
and which if I'd known I was going to be playing music in it, I'd have grabbed a different guitar for sure. Travel Taylors are pretty amazing, but they're not the quality you need to do the show like that. You need the full Taylor, or what I use now is a Ras guitar. I turned around, got back on the plane, reading the script off my phone, and realized, oh my gosh, this guy's singing in the movie. That's the introduction to his character. And one of my songs, Countryman, is perfect for that spot.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So
Okay.
the minute I got off, they said, we'll take you to the hotel in production in the morning. I said, I need to go to production tonight, now. And I went over there and I talked with Brent Christie and Gary Wheeler and Jason and all the guys. I says, "Oh, listen, you got to hear this. I got a song that's perfect for this." I said, "Now it's not bluegrass like in the movie,
Mhm.
but it's perfect for this." And I played the song for them. They said, "Who owns that song?" I said, "I do." "Who owns the licensing and writing rights?" I said, "I do." "What's it going to cost us?" I said, "Just sign here. Let's do this." We came to an agreement on it. And he said, I said, "But it's not bluegrass." He says, "The band you're going to be playing with is a Foxfire Boys, the bluegrass band that's played together for 30 years. I guarantee you, when they go in the background, it'll be a bluegrass."
Nice.
So we played that song as bluegrass in the movie, and then we did it that same song again in the season
Mhm.
episode 4 in season 1. Only now we went more the outlaw country with it,
Nice.
and it was just an amazing experience. And since getting in with those guys, they have literally, if you count seasons as one movie, they have cast me in, if each season counts as a movie, they've cast me in 7 movies without an audition.
Wow, that's great. How many times have you sung in the series?
I only sung once in season 1, and that they were just finishing season 2. So, I've read the scripts, and there's he's banded together. But my character in the series owns his own bar, and he has a band.
And you do a lot of fight scenes.
In this one, there's a lot of action that I do. My fight scenes in the past have always been simple, me just acting tough and everything like this. But this one, there's some actual. Um, they're just off the hook with the season 2. It is just pretty incredible. The other thing I like about working with these guys is they hire the same, they're like the Coen brothers, who hire the same people over and over again. And their requirements have 2 requirements. One, be a good actor, the other one, be an incredibly good person, or you ain't coming back.
Mhm.
And I've witnessed that, you know. I'll see somebody on the set that's being a little bit of a diva and
Mm.
a little bit of a jerk, and then that you don't see him again. You don't see him on the other shows. Whereas guys like Bruce Boxleitner, A. Martinez, and that see them in Farhaven, um, Warrant, running them over and over again, and and then oh well, this shirt, Blue Ridge Strong, the company when all the hurricanes hit here, which by the way, I drove there this time in the hurricane, this last time, which was really weird. I got my truck and my trailer with all the band gear on it because I take my band gear, and then if my manager or agent can book me someplace where I'm already doing the movies, I have the gear there.
Nice. Good.
We're going down the road, and I'm feeling the road getting soft. And I thought, I'm hydroplaning. I can't be hydroplaning. I got too much weight on and I'm not traveling fast enough to hydroplane.
Mhm.
And I'm traveling that road across. And I thought, what is with this road? It felt like I was driving on sand and it was moving and all this stuff. And I drove across it. And when I got to the thing, I watched on the news, and I don't know how far behind me it was, but it was on the news an hour and 15 minutes later. That road washed out and took several people with it.
Oh, wow.
It went down the mountain, and they're still recouping that road. But on set, we were having trouble they were having trouble getting water and stuff on set to shoot Blue Ridge at this point. There was a lot of things closed up. And I went into a Walmart, and the Walmart that I was at happened to have rolls and rolls of bottled water. So I called a production and say, hey, bottled water, no problem here. And I'm
Mhm.
driving, they give me a rental, their SUV. I'm driving your car, I can load it. And I loaded up all the waters on there. And even with they would come in with this SUV full of waters, even with the movie company having trouble getting waters to continue filming. They took the back half of that and shipped the waters to the victims.
Wow.
They started BlueRidgeStrong.com, and all these t-shirts, coffee mugs, hats, everything goes to the victims.
Wow.
And then A. Martinez, who's I don't even have to introduce him. He put up a thing where it's showing people how to go help all the fire victims in California and really doing a strong campaign to help that out.
Wow.
And I just think this is the crowd of people that I'm hanging out with, that they're not just good actors, they're
Good people.
good people, amazing people. They're people I like being friends with.
Wow. That's great. How many seasons are planned out for the show?
Well, we're finishing. I go back Charlotte, March and the first week of April should finish season two, the last four episodes of season two.
Mhm.
And then we can only cross our fingers that there's another one.
Right. Now, where can people see it? Where can they watch it on?
It is on Roku channel. It is on westernbound.com. I just found out it's on Plex. It's on INSP channel. That's another cool thing that they've done, where a lot of the bigger movies I've been in, they only on Netflix and Prime and everything like this. They take the big things because they want that river of money flowing back into the productions. And these guys that do, well, all their films are family friendly.
Right.
I refer to Blue Ridge a lot of time as a version of Yellowstone that your grandkids can watch.
Okay, I like.
It really is. It has the same feel as Justified when I did Justified. It's it's got the action, it's got the murders, it's got um the fights and the action sequences, just none of the, bad language and uh gratuitous nudity and that stuff.
Okay, well, that's good.
And
So, what, you're
so
not naked in the series?
what's that?
You're not naked in the series, Tom? It's like, what
I
is?
tried. I tried to be, but they said, Gary Wheeler explained it best to me. I said, Jerry, why don't you let me be naked? He said, Tom, it's not a comedy.
Well, so, are you working on any future projects right now because of the series?
Um, I've got a thing I get to read for that shoots in Texas.
Mhm.
Um, is kind of a weird thing. They haven't sent me the script. They haven't sent me any of the information on it yet. Put me on a Veils,
Okay.
and I have auditioned for it. I don't. I've never had that situation happen yet.
Well, with this, you always have to be in the flow of things, right? Because you just never know what's going on behind the scenes.
And I want to do a short film, all in Spanish, just as a, uh, I want to, because I've The girl that was the star in my film Guilt,
Mhm.
she just did a short film and I went and helped her out with it. She wasn't in Spanish, but it was definitely geared toward the Spanish market. And she entered her script. It did really well, and it's all about getting known everywhere. As you know, this business, the music business, everything's a popularity contest.
The global market too. So,
Yeah, it's a global market, and only an idiot leave out one-third of the country.
well, we have lots of idiots, you know that.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Well, I think you should. Do you have something in mind that you're working on?
I don't. I was going to come up with I've had several. I've got one that's like a show. It's a comedy horror western that I've got laid out as just an outline of. But I don't know that I want to do it as a short first. And then I've got several little storylines that I'm toying with, coming up with as a short. Um, but when you type, I'm a pretty fast typer. Sometimes I get up to 3 or 4 words a minute. Um, it depends on some how many times that peak key is in. Oh, there it is. And you know, so I don't know. My idea is to up approach my friend in California, who surprisingly has your same name, and see how she would feel about writing a short, and then working with the young lady that uh, translated my songs to translate it.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll definitely talk some more about that.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to keep creating. And that's one of the things I love about you. You're constantly in that creative flow, whether you are making music or acting or writing stories, because you have a lot of great scripts too. So you're constantly doing, which is so inspiring. And that's what you have to do. You can't.
It really is. I have had 4 working actor friends, known working actor friends, that throughout COVID and over the series of time that took their own lives. And all 4 of them had one thing in common, and that was they were waiting for their agent to call them.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
The most frustrated actor in the world is the one that is waiting for their agent to call them.
Yeah, that's the thing of the
That
past.
if you're waiting for your agent to call you,
Not going to happen. Yeah, everything's changed so much. You have to create your own content.
see,
And
if I wait, there's things I wait for, but at least I'm realistic. Like I'm waiting for aliens to pick me up, take me up into their
right.
ship, and then make me like 26 years old again and put me back on Earth. But at least I'm waiting for something that can possibly happen.
Wait, you want to do this whole process again? More than
Oh,
once? What?
no, I don't want to go through the process again. I just want to continue this life with the energy and the invincibility that I had back then. I let myself feel like I'm not invincible, and that's something that you should never do at any age. I'm really good at telling other people what not to do, aren't I?
It's good to give advice, especially to people wanting to get into the business. And what's so great about acting and even music, you don't have to be, a kid. You be any age to do it, and you're doing it. So, what advice would you give to people wanting to take that leap of faith into the business?
If you want to take that leap of faith into the business, first off, you have to have a sustainable income that don't come from the business, that is flexible enough that they know you're not reliable at all. They they got to know that you're going to take off for a month, you're going to take off for 2 weeks, going to take off for this, and take off for that. The jobs that I've seen work for others is dog walking, managing apartments. We did that. You can do that from a phone, managing apartment buildings. Uh, Even one actor that manages a U-Haul.
Mm.
But when he goes on set, he can continue doing his job from where he's at. The other thing is to make sure you're creating something. Get your stuff up on Actors Access and casting networks, and then don't wait for an agent. Submit to even student films or something. There is no film that you can make that doesn't make you a connection to your next film on any level. I don't believe you can make a student film and have it not make a connection to your next film. An example of that is I went to Arizona to do a film with Ashley that I thought I was returning the favor that she did for me doing my film. And that's where I found the girl that translates my songs to Spanish, but also met another guy that came on down there, and he's part of the big festival there. Why are you entering him in that festival and that festival? I thought, I don't know, I've never. You
Mm.
enter your film there, and I'm on the board and I'm on the festival. We'll get your films in there. These are all things that help you. And just like you're doing, you write, you create constantly.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay,
I
but I have to say though, okay, I had an audition and I read the script. Okay, when I did the audition, they wanted me to improvise it. So then they liked what I did. They gave me a call back. So I finally read the script. The script was horrible. What they wanted to do to my character was just, I mean, it was degrading. It was over sexualized, gratuitous sex and violent. And this was it was a reputable film school. And I thought, oh hell no. I was just and I was thinking creators have a responsibility too. You just can't write shit, and we see so much of it. And one, I think it's great to be creative and do it, but what you put out there into the universe, I mean, it causes a ripple effect. So when you see good stuff, you're causing more good stuff. I think you inspire people. But when you put crap out there, I think that's inspiring people to do more crap. And so I think people need to learn to be discerning too. And that's not all.
Oh, I am so glad you covered that, because I just realized in the fact that you covered that what I was saying made it look like just go do anything. And I don't know if that's the reason you brought it up, but as I look at it, that's kind of what it sounded like I was saying. And I will tell you outright, I had some things I went and did for and with some dear sweet friends,
Mm,
dear friends, and they are hilarious. And their script was hilarious.
mm,
And they said, is there we don't have any budget for this for you and everything, but could we get you on this? And I says, hey, look, I'm going to be here on my days off. We'll go ahead, this is where I'm at, the location. We'll go ahead and film that. And yeah, I'll be glad to do that with you. Well, none of them could play themselves on the film. And then I told them, okay, throw the script away, go back to just improv, just be yourself. Because
mm.
you can't be around them without laughing your ass off. I, of course, had forgotten that improv is one of the hardest skills of acting out there. I'm always very flattered when when the guys on Blue Ridge says, Tom, kind of Tom Proctorize it. What would you say as the character?
I like that.
And I rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. I did that on Justified. I've done it on several other films where I just add the line in there. And I
Well,
had to tell people that I dearly, dearly love and care about, you can't release this shit because it's shit.
yeah.
And they said, well, we just want to get something out there. And I said, then you need to start over, shoot it without me or out any known actor, because no known name is going to be let you put that out. It's just not going to happen,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, it's
Um,
to do quality work is not easy. Takes a lot
mm-mm.
and you're dealing with so many different people and so many different elements to it. I don't think people really realize it's not just getting a group of actors together and shooting. It's like you have to have a solid story, a great script, talented actors, a talented director, and DP. You need the good camera work. You need a great editor. You need great sound. You need great music. You need great coloring. There's so many elements that people are like, oh, I didn't realize.
You do need especially great sound and great sound design. My son Jake did my sound design on Guild, and
Mm.
I was on the bottom of his list because he gave me a discount. So it took a year to get the sound design done. I contacted him about would you, if I do a short, can you do sound design? He said, Dad, not for a couple of years. You booked that far out. I was like, who the hell are you, Meryl Streep? And because that's the only one I know of that's booked a couple of years out. Um, and I said, you got any recommendations? He says, you're gonna have to find a gunslinger. Everybody I know that's any good is so packed, back. I'm his damn dad, and I would throw money at it.
Wow.
And this
Okay.
is the story he's telling me.
But he got it done for you though. He
He
did do
got
it.
guilt, he got guilt done,
Right.
but he won't take on one of these shorts. Just says he can't right now.
Okay.
He set up in Utah.
Mhm.
I brought him to California to do his sound school and all that stuff. And then he said he was setting his studio up in Utah. And I said, you're an idiot. There's no way that California is going to go to Utah for sound design. He goes, they will if you're good enough. That's another thing I say to all productions, all actors.
Mhm.
There was a time where you had to live in Los Angeles if you're going to be an actor because the big casting companies wouldn't look at you unless you lived there.
Mhm.
That time is history. Thank you, COVID.
Mhm.
Um, and my son is doing projects for Warner Brothers, projects for all of the big LA studios, and his studio is in Utah.
Great.
If you're good enough, it's going to happen.
Exactly. Yep. And persistence and consistency. You just have to keep doing it. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I, for one, am very proud of you, Tom. You've come such a long way in your career. You just keep going and you have so much fun doing it too.
There's a phrase I'll try not to use, but if you see how many times I trip over it, uh, I literally trip over myself several times. And
You just keep going. That's what you have to do.
one of the things that my music manager got upset about is he showed up at a gig where I was supposedly doing a solo, but it was also a gig where, people like to dance. And I'm
Mhm.
showing up there at a small bar, and I'm showing up there with an acoustic guitar. And so instead, I show up there and I've got this. I took a Samsonite suitcase. You got to do one of the old Samsonite touristers, the old ones, because they're 6-ply plywood, which is the same plywood as drum set. So I cut a bass drum on one side of it, running that with the kick pedal here. And then I put a license plate with a tambourine against it on this side, hitting it with a kick pedal. And on my heel, I'm running this hi-hat. So I got I got the rhythm section of the drum and a crash cymbal and play the guitar at the same time.
Nice. Nice.
So number one, you heard of those chair aerobics where the guys just sit there and do this with their feet? That's what you're doing. You got chair aerobics going on. It's just fun. I just love the fun of it. And everybody says, don't do that. It makes you look like a street musician or like you can't get a band together. I said, give me 5,000, you get the whole band.
There you
Give
go.
me 1,000 and under, you get me in the one-man band. Period.
Mhm.
And if it's like the tasting companies or little breweries, I'll just go acoustic because
Mhm.
that's not that's some place where the drum beat is necessary.
Right.
But at these little dive bars, and I gotta tell you, I got a weakness for dive bars. The one person that books me says, Tommy, I just worry about you in those dive bars. There's a lot of times fights break out and those people get rowdy. And I says, "A fight breaks out on me, it's their problem, not mine." I said, there, I told her, I said, there was a time when if you wanted to fight me, we would have fun.
Mhm.
'Cause I'd play with you for a little bit. I'd dance with you for a little bit, then drop you like a rock. As I'm an old man now, I don't play with my food.
You still have fun.
I still have fun, but yes, somebody's going to sleep.
Well, Tom, it's so great talking to you. I'm really glad that you were able to do this. So thank you so very much.
Oh,
Now,
thank you.